Assalamualaikum. Welcome to the Department of Mathematics of GA Momin Women's College. Now in this class SYBSc Mathematics Paper 1, we are going to continue with the functions of several variables. In the last lecture we have seen how to find the limit of a scalar valued function using polar form. Now we'll continue with one result, important result. Proposition is continuity of a vector valued function. So far we have solved the problems of scalar valued functions only. Now after studying this theorem, we'll be able to solve the problems of vector valued functions also. Let us see that if S be any open subset of Rn and f from S to Rm is any function. So because of Rm, this is a vector valued function, is such that fx is equal to f1, f2 up to fmx. So this function f has m components because it is in Rm. For all x in Rn, this x is in Rn. So this function is from Rn to Rm, is a vector valued function. Prove that f is continuous at any point a in S, in the domain S, if and only if fk is continuous at a belonging to S. For k from 1 to m. It means f1, f2, all the components. So what fk means here, all the components. So f is continuous function at any point if and only if each component itself is a function, scalar valued function. So if and only if each function f1, f2 up to fm, all of them are continuous at that point, then f is continuous and vice versa. Let us see the proof. Suppose f from S to Rm is a continuous function, then by definition, before definition we have here a is in S, which is in Rn, so a has n components, x has n components, a and x are interples, and f has m component as it is given over here. So if f is continuous at a, therefore limit fx as extending to a is equal to f of a. This is the definition of continuity. Right. Now epsilon delta definition of continuity tells us what? That for given epsilon positive, there is some delta positive such that whenever norm of x minus a is less than delta, x is tending to a, implies norm of f of x minus f of a is less than epsilon. Here we have taken norm of f of x minus f of a because function fx and this value f of a, they are vectors. It is a vector valued function. So we have used norm. Now substituting the values of f of x and f of a, we got norm of f1 x, f2 x, this m tuple minus f1a, f2a up to fma. These are only values of f of x and f of a. This norm is less than epsilon. Value of this norm, Euclidean norm, is what? Square root of f1x minus f1x minus f1a square plus f2x minus f2a square plus up to last one is fmx minus fma square. When this is strictly less than epsilon, then what happens? Each component mod of this, we know that mod of this is less than or equal to this whole term. Mod of f2 of x minus f2 of a is less than or equal to this whole square root. Okay, so each term like fkx minus fka, its mod is less than epsilon because each term is less than this square root and this square root is strictly less than epsilon. Okay, we have f1x minus f1a is less than epsilon, f2x minus f2a is less than epsilon, up to fmx minus fma less than epsilon. So this shows that each fk is a continuous function because we had started with what? For given epsilon there is some delta positive such that whenever x is tending to a, this is less than delta, implies mod of fkx minus fka is strictly less than epsilon. So fkx means f1x, f2x, all of them are continuous function at a. This is the first part. Now we see the converse part. If we suppose that each fk is continuous at a belonging to S, then by definition we have this. Means what we have for given epsilon positive, there is delta positive such that this norm less than delta implies mod of fkx minus fka is less than epsilon upon root of m. This is the adjustment, because epsilon upon any positive number will be less than epsilon. So definitely this number is less than epsilon when we have taken this. So this will be less than epsilon upon root of m for all k. So f1x minus f1a, its mod is less than this. f2x minus f2a, its mod is again less than this number, up to the mth one. So with this, we see what will happen to the square. Its square will be then what? Taking square, modulus square will be strictly less than epsilon square upon m for all k. Okay. Then taking summation. These are m terms. So if I take summation, then it will be summation of this side also. This is less than this. Okay. But then this is a constant term, can be taken outside the summation, and this is summation of 1 up to mk from 1 to m. Or simply you can say that these are m terms. So in each term we have, these are m terms, in each term we have epsilon square upon m plus epsilon square upon m plus epsilon square upon m times. So it will be m times epsilon square upon m. But this m is getting cancelled. So this summation is strictly less than epsilon square. And if this summation is less than epsilon square, taking its positive root, positive square root on each side, we'll have a square root of summation of fkx minus fka square. This is strictly less than epsilon. What this square root is? This square root is nothing but it is this square root in elaborated form. This is square root of f1x minus f1a square plus f2x minus f2a square plus up to fmx minus fma square. This is that summation, which was what? Which was actually norm. We have seen this norm of f of x minus f of a. This norm value is this. The same value in short, in precise notation symbol, it is this. But this is the norm. Norm of f of x minus f of a is less than epsilon. It shows that starting with this, that each fk is continuous. We had started in converse. Each fk is continuous. So we had started with norm of x minus a less than delta and this. So this implied that norm of f of x minus f of a is less than epsilon. This shows that f is continuous at a. So we had proved the theorem that a scalar valued function, a vector valued function which has m components, f1, f2 up to fm. This vector valued function is continuous at any point if and only if each component function itself is a continuous function. Okay. So we can use this in solving the problems in R2 and R3. So here we will have the problems in R2. Basically, we see the problem. Check the following functions for continuity. See the first function f1xy is a vector valued function because it has two components. Mod of x plus mod of y is one function, comma x into y is another function. So this is f1 of x, f2 of x. So this function is from actually R2 to R2 because function is defined on the element x comma y, which is an ordered pair. Okay, and its value is, its image is again ordered pair, this function and this function. So this is in the form fxy is equal to f1xy. This is f1xy comma f2xy. Okay, so this function has, this is a vector function, it has two components. In order to show, here you see f1 of x is mod of x plus mod of y, f2 of x is x into y, and a at which we have to find the continuity, this a is 0 comma 0. So in order to show that continuity, f is continuous, we need to check if both f1 and f2 are continuous at the point separately, because we had seen in the theorem that if f has some m component vector valued function, m component it will be continuous if and only if each component function is continuous function. So let us see f1. For checking f1, we start with, since we have to check x comma y tending to 0 0, so we write if norm of x minus y, x comma y minus 0 0 is less than delta, this norm is square root of x minus 0 square plus y minus 0 square. So it is square root of x square plus y square less than delta. But then mod of x is less than equal to this, and mod of y is less than this square root. Therefore mod of x is strictly less than delta and mod of y is strictly less than delta, as we have seen this before. So what will happen to the first function, f1 xy minus f1 at 0 0. F1 xy is this. When I take x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0, it will be mod of 0 plus mod of 0, so it will be 0. So f1 at 0 0 is 0. So mod of x plus mod of y, value of f1 xy minus 0 is equal to mod of x plus mod of y only. But mod of x is less than delta, this is also less than delta, so this is strictly less than delta plus delta is equal to 2 delta. In order to show that this is continuous, we need to show that this is strictly less than epsilon. So this 2 delta could be the value of epsilon. So what will be our choice for delta? We have what, for given epsilon positive, there is delta is equal to epsilon by 2, such that whenever 0 is less than norm of x minus y, xy minus 0 0 less than delta, implies mod of f1x comma y minus f1 0 0 is strictly less than epsilon, because this was less than 2 delta. We will take this as epsilon. When this is less than epsilon, then delta will be epsilon by 2. So this shows that f1 is continuous function. f1 is continuous at 0 0. Then similarly f2 mod of f2xy minus f2 0 0 will be mod of xy minus 0, because function f2, let us see, f2 is x, f2xy is x into 0. When at 0 0, when x is 0 and y is 0, this is 0. So f2 at 0 0 is 0. So this minus this is xy minus 0 is mod of x into mod of y. But we had already seen that mod of x is strictly less than delta and mod of y is strictly less than delta. So this is strictly less than delta square. This delta square we want to be epsilon. So when we take delta square is equal to epsilon, delta will be square root of epsilon. So for given epsilon positive, there is delta which is square root of epsilon, such that when this norm is less than delta, implies this f2xy minus f2 0 0 is strictly less than epsilon. So it shows that f2 is a continuous function at 0 0. f2 is also continuous function at 0 0. So when f1 and f2 both are separately continuous scalar valued functions, then the function which is vector valued function, which is f1 vector f1 comma f2, is continuous function at 0 0. Okay. So similarly we will see the second problem also. fxy is again from R2 to R2, which is x into cos of 1 upon y comma y into cos of 1 upon x when xy is not 0 0. And this is 0 comma 0 when xy is 0 0. It means f at 0 0 is 0 comma 0 is a vector valued function, where so here also f1 fxy is f1 f2. First component f1 of x is this. f1 of xy is x into cos of 1 upon y when xy is not 0 0, and f1 at 0 0, f1 at 0 0, this is f1 at 0 0, it is 0, because xy is equal to 0 0, at that value this is 0. So f1 at 0 0 is 0. Similarly f2xy is this function when xy is not 0 0, and this is 0 because second component is 0 when x and y are 0. f2 0 0 is 0. So as before, we will start with this. We want to show this limit. So x comma y is tending to 0 0. So this norm of their difference is less than delta will imply, as usual, what it will imply that square root of x square plus y square is less than delta. So mod of x less than equal to this is less than delta. Mod of y, which is less than equal to this square root, will be less than delta. Okay, so I have written directly mod of x is strictly less than delta and mod of y is strictly less than delta. So in order to check continuity of f1, we consider mod of f1xy minus f100 is value can be substituted minus 0. So it will be mod of x into mod of this value, mod of cos of 1 upon y. For any value which is existing here, we know that mod of cos theta is always less than equal to 1. Therefore, mod of this cos of 1 upon y is also less than equal to 1. So this will be less than equal to mod of x into 1, but mod of x is already strictly less than delta. So this modulus, mod of f1xy minus f100 is strictly less than delta. It shows us that delta should be equal to epsilon. So we have, for given epsilon positive, there is delta is equal to epsilon, such that when this norm is less than delta, f1xy minus f100 is strictly less than epsilon. Okay, this shows that f1xy is continuous at 0, 0. And similarly, the second function f2xy minus f200 can be easily shown, because this is value y mod of y into cos 1 upon x minus 0 will be mod of cos of mod of y into cos of mod of cos of 1 upon y. But again, mod of cos theta is less than equal to 1. So this is less than equal to mod of y into 1, but mod of y is strictly less than delta. So this is strictly less than delta. Therefore, again, the choice of delta equal to epsilon is valid. I can write when norm of xy minus 0, 0 is less than delta implies f2xy minus f200 is strictly less than delta, which is epsilon equal to epsilon. So this, by epsilon delta definition, this shows that f2xy is also continuous at 0, 0. When both the component functions f1 and f2 both are continuous at 0, 0, then the vector function fxy is also continuous at 0, 0. Thank you.